Manipulative people don't just lie or deceive. They use psychological tricks to control your emotions, make you question yourself, and push you into doing what they want, without you even realizing it. And the worst part? You might not even see it happening. Today, we're exposing 10 psychological tricks manipulative people use against you, so you can see them coming and never fall for them again. 1. They rewire your reality. You remember something clearly, you bring it up, and suddenly, that never happened. You're imagining things. Wow, you're so dramatic. And just like that, you start questioning yourself. At first, you push back, but over time, you start wondering, am I crazy? Did I make it up? You don't trust your own mind anymore, and that's exactly what they want. Because the moment you doubt yourself, they don't have to prove anything. You'll do the work for them. You replay conversations in your head, trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. But no matter how much you think about it, you always come back to the same feeling. Something is wrong, but you can't prove it. And so, you let it go. You stay quiet. You stop trusting your own memory. And in the end, you start believing the only version of reality they allow you to see. 2. They weaponize guilt. You finally stand up for yourself. You set a boundary. And the response? Wow, after everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. And just like that, your strength turns into shame. You go from feeling empowered to apologizing. It's subtle, but it works. Instead of focusing on what they did wrong, you're now focused on proving you're not a bad person. They don't even need to tell you what to do. You'll do it yourself, just to avoid the guilt. And that's how they win. Because guilt makes you compliant. Guilt makes you easier to control. And guilt makes sure that no matter how wrong they are, you're always the one saying sorry. 3. They make you feel crazy. They cheat, they lie, they break your trust, but instead of admitting it, they turn it around on you. Why are you always so jealous? You're too paranoid. You have serious trust issues. And suddenly, you start wondering if maybe they're right. Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you are too insecure. But deep down, you know something is off. You feel it in your gut. But they keep throwing accusations at you so fast, you don't even have time to think. And by the time the conversation is over, you're not even mad at them anymore. You're too busy questioning yourself. 4. They control through silence. One day, they're laughing with you. The next, they shut you out completely. No explanation, no response, just silence. You text them, no reply. You call, ignored. You start to panic. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Should I apologize? And then, just as suddenly as they disappeared, they come back. And instead of confronting them, you just feel relieved. You don't even care what happened anymore. You just don't want to lose them again. And that's how they win. They don't need to yell. They don't need to argue. They just need to make you afraid of losing them. 5. They keep you hooked. They give you just enough love to keep you holding on. Then they pull it away, leaving you desperate to get it back. One day, they make you feel like the most important person in the world. The next, they act like you don't exist. And every time they come back, you feel relief instead of anger, because you're just grateful to have them again. But what you don't realize is that the inconsistency is what's keeping you stuck. 6. They twist the story. You call them out on something they did, and suddenly, you're the villain. You always bring up the past. I wouldn't have done that if you weren't so difficult. Why do you always make things about you? And just like that, you go from confronting them to defending yourself. You replay the argument in your head, wondering if maybe you really are the problem. You start questioning whether you should have brought it up at all. And before you know it, you're the one apologizing. That's the trick. They never admit fault. They never take responsibility. Instead, they flip the script, change the narrative, and make you feel like you're the one who should feel guilty. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to see how many times they've done it to you before. 7. They change the rules. You try, you do everything you can to prove yourself, but every time you meet their expectations, they move the finish line. They told you all they wanted was for you to be more supportive, so you give more, you listen more, you put them first. And just when you think you finally made them happy, suddenly that's not enough anymore. Now they want more of your time, more sacrifices, more of yourself, until there's nothing left to give. But here's the truth. It was never about you being good enough for them. It was about keeping you constantly chasing their approval, because as long as you're trying to earn it, they'll always be the one in control. 8. They wear you down. You try to explain yourself, but no matter what you say, it's never the right thing. They keep bringing up things from months ago. They twist your words. They ask you the same question over and over until your brain feels like it's shutting down. And at some point, you just stop arguing. Not because you agree with them, but because you're too tired to keep fighting. That's how they win. They don't need to be right. They just need you to be too exhausted to resist. 9. They make you feel small. They never insult you directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they do it in a way that makes you feel crazy for even noticing. You're so independent, it's kind of intimidating. I love how you don't care what people think, even when it's embarrassing. You've come a long way. Remember how awkward you used to be? And at first, you laugh. You tell yourself it's not a big deal. But later, when you're alone, you keep thinking about it. You wonder if they meant it. You wonder if everyone else sees you that way too. And little by little, their words chip away at you. Until one day, you don't even realize how much smaller you've become. 10. They make you afraid to leave. You think about walking away, but then the doubt creeps in. What if no one else ever cares about you like they do? What if you're overreacting? What if leaving makes you the bad guy? And that's the final trick. They make you feel like you owe them something, like after everything they've done for you, you can't just walk away. But here's the truth. You don't owe them your peace. You don't owe them your happiness. And you don't have to set yourself on fire just to keep them warm. Manipulative people don't control you by force. They don't need to. They make you doubt yourself so much that you willingly give them control. But the moment you see their tricks for what they are, they lose their power over you. You are not crazy. You are not selfish. And you don't owe anyone your peace.